Fans, it is time once again for another episode of Tales from 2 a.m. Yes, a very special episode because we're getting ready for camp. Hi, I'm Bryan Anthony Davis. My name is that. You can call me Bad. And I'm also the podcast producer here at BehindTheSteelCurtain.com and very proud to be. And I'm going to talk about that quite a bit on this episode. Wherever you are, thank you so much for joining me. I realize, this is a little earlier than we do it. I know for some people it's 5:48 in the morning. If you're in Hawaii, it's probably a whole lot earlier. But we have people from all over the globe checking out this show. Hashtag Bad Company. Bad loves you. So thank you so much. Dave Shipley, first one in this morning. Good morning, Dave Shipley, Brian Brown, Port Nequemba. Everybody in, ready to go. Like I said, I am so glad to be able to do this every single Sunday with you until the start of the regular season. That's when we start up with the Steelers post-game show. And come on, that's so much better than some dude just spouting off and preaching about life as a black and gold fan. That's what I'm going to do today, but I'm going to go a little more personal because this is a very special day for me. And I'm going to get into that in just a little bit. So the Steelers, it's been announced on Friday. They're going to camp, my friends. Yes, yes, yes. July 22nd. They were able to go as early as July 21st, but they were reporting to the south side, to the complex, on that day, July 22. So what's today, the 18th? Oh my gosh, it's coming up, my friends. It is coming up Thursday. I am McDonald's right now. But Bad's loving it. All right, so that's going to be my first thumbs down because I always get 3 on this show. So, one of these days we're going to get 300 thumbs ups and no thumbs down. But I don't care because I have thick skin and this is fun. And we're going to be talking about that too, not the thumbs downs, but why we do this and why I'm here. And that's what we're going to do. But first, it's camp. Some things happened last week. It was all a lot of talk. So let's talk about this. What happened last week? What was the week that was? So if you don't have a chance to check it out today when it debuts on the other side, the editorial side, let's take a look into the week that was and have a bad week. On Monday, Ryan Bird reported sources that said that Ben Roethlisberger's conditioning is the best of his career and that he is driven more than ever since the season ended. Burr also stated that from an arm standpoint, Ben is more likely to win his first league MVP than finish outside the top 10 in passing. Sources from BTSC say that Bryan Anthony Davis is in the best writing shape of his career and is far more likely to win. Forget it. Even I can't write a fib that outrageous. But I want to talk about Ben Roethlisberger here. I don't care how much hype he's getting. And Bill Cowher came out and talked about how when he gets focused, how amazing he could be. Talked about his conditioning is what Ryan Burr is. He's in great shape. And yeah, he's ready to go. And I get it. But you know how I like my chips on the shoulders of black and gold players. And that's what I'm hoping for. So let's quit waxing Ben's car. Let's make Ben mad. Let's give him something to prove again. And that will be huge. So that's all I'm saying about that. Pro Football Reference, after decades of research on Monday, updated their site to add sack data all the way back to 1960. Now, sacks became an official stat, I believe, in 1982. So when you look at the stat totals, you're like, wait, where's Joe Green? Where's LC Greenwood? Like, number 1 is James Harrison with 80.5, and right behind him is Jason Gilden, another number 92. Then you've got guys like Keith Willis, and Keith Willis, he's going to stay on that list. But where's LC Greenwood with 78? Where's Joe Green with 77.5? Dwight White's 55. Ernie Holmes is 39.5. Andy Russell's 38. Jack Ham's 25.5, and Jack Lambert's 23.5. Well, they're there now. Now, for years, I have been quoting, and if you listen to the show, I talk about the official sack list and the unofficial sack list. And the unofficial sack list is the one that I go by, with L.C. Greenwood at number 3 and Joe Green at number 4. And that's the most important one for me because those guys, they got sacks. Maybe, and I don't know if they're going to tally this now, but if they're going to do this, maybe L.C. Greenwood will now have the official record for sacks in a Super Bowl because of those 4 back in Super Bowl 10. Man, he needs to be recognized for that. He had 4, and he would have. But I still don't think that's going to be an official stat. But as far as unofficial and official Steelers sack list, we don't have to talk about that anymore. It's the Steelers sack list now because of Pro Football Reference. And I can speak for Dave Schofield on this. I think it's the best thing out there as far as stats go. I like Pro Football Reference as well. We use that for everything, just like looking up numbers of players. And when we do Digit Dynasty and we get those sacks, that's where we go. And it's a very credible source. So kudos to that group for putting it together. On Tuesday, Cassius Marsh was quoted as saying that his time with the New England Patriots was awful and that the team, and I quote, treats players like crap. It was cited that the Pats players were barely given time to eat at practices. Marsh stopped short of comparing Bill Belichick to Miss Hannigan and Annie, and that's too bad. I was really hoping that Pokemon King would bust out some, it's a hard luck knife. Hard luck knife? It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard knock life for us. Bill Belichick keeps us down. We always have a frown. Well, now he's with Pittsburgh, and they don't treat you like crap. They treat you pretty good, Pokey. Glad to have you. On Wednesday, Rosie Nix announced his retirement from the NFL. Nix went by Nix Jones when he first debuted in the league, and it was crushing to watch him be the first cut on HBO's Hard Knocks when he was with the Atlanta Falcons. This guy was a class act, hard-nosed Steeler, so best wishes to Rosie. Let's meet up at Arby's. We'll celebrate your career. Big beef and cheddars on me. But, Rosie, you may have to spring for the curly fries, though. I'm a little short this week. Thursday, it was reported that Dwayne Haskins, who got married over the weekend, was assaulted by said woman just 2 weeks before in Vegas. Now, I'm not going to make fun of this. This is a domestic violence situation. But he did marry her, 10 days later? This happened on July 3rd, and then he married her over the weekend, so less than a week, maybe. So, look, I'm not going after Dwayne Haskins. Right now, he could be a victim of domestic abuse. I'm glad that he didn't hit her back. We don't know what happened. Maybe Dwayne started it. I'm not saying that either. I'm just staying away. But for the sake of the article and for some kind of levity, there's no truth to the report that Le'Veon Bell entered into his sister's wife's polygamy-styled union with the hookers that robbed him while he was nude. On Friday, it was announced that the Steelers training camp will open July 22nd at the UPMC Rooney Sports Complex on the South Side. Let the annual Yinzer Pessimism Games begin. Woo! And this is my favorite, and I'm going to talk about this a lot today. BTSC's Michael Beck asked the question on Twitter if Robert Spillane could become the next great Steelers inside linebacker. Apparently, Vince Williams noticed, and this is not a joke, and he replied, 100% know for a fact he can. How awesome is that? Michael Beck. He has a great following on Twitter. This kid, we tease him all the time. He teases back. That's awesome. We are a tight family here at BTSC. But Michael Beck is getting it done. And to get Vinny Vidi Vici, a big presence on Twitter, to notice him and reply and agree with him and answer the question and not bounce on him like Lustin Jane did to one Jefferson Hartman. Look, I think it's awesome. I've never had anyone famous reply to any of my written wisdoms on social media, not even Tom Arnold. And Tom Arnold, who replied to a Tony Defeo tweet a few months back, Tom freaking Arnold would reply to me. I can't even get Sapphire from the Beehive to message me back. My gosh, I'm unloved. Somebody get me some kind of celebrity. Even if it's D-list like Pittsburgh Dad. I don't care. I need somebody to acknowledge my existence. I'm not that vain, but it's funny. Saturday, I just finished binge watching Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus. Amazing show. It's tremendous. I'm pumped that season 2 comes out next Friday. Justin Sudeikis is fantastic. Great cast, too. It's a story of a championship NCAA D2 coach. I think they have him at, I was going to say Wake Forest, but it's the same colors. It's actually Wichita State. So I've got the W and I've got the black and gold thinking about. But yeah, he was at Wichita State. He's jumping the pond to coach soccer. Can you imagine Mike Tomlin unleashing hell in Liverpool or at Man U or something like that? That would be absolutely awesome. They take their football pretty seriously. So I absolutely love it. Brian Brown asked, why is Cassius Marsh called the Pokemon King? This guy has a great business. He has been collecting Pokemon cards. Now he sells them. He's got an online presence and sports cards and fantasy adventure playing cards. That is why he's called the Pokemon King. Great. There's some great interviews with him on that. And I tell you what, I'm getting excited about this guy. I think he could be, look, no one was excited about Robert Spillane at all. Now we kind of are. I'm kind of getting excited about Cassius Marsh. Now, am I looking at him to start? No. But I think he could be a good presence. So that's cool to me. All right. So the Steelers are going to camp. I am going to camp. I shouldn't even be doing the show right now. I've got 18 BSA Boy Scouts waiting for me. And we meet up at 10 o'clock. And we are going to camp for the week. I am their scoutmaster. And I am guiding. Yes, Bad is guiding 18 youth from age 11 to 16 this weekend. Actually, not this weekend, the entire week. So it is, pray for me. I've done it before. It is a lot of fun when you guide them through merit badges. You take them camping. It is a great facility in Pennsylvania where we go to. One of the finest camps in Equip. He's one of the finest in the world. Yeah, just me once in band camp. Nothing cool like that happens here. So, no, nothing cool like that happens. But yeah, it's very safe for the boys and girls now too. My daughter gets to go with her troop, which I'm so proud of. Both of my kids will be with me. So this is going to be fantastic. And I can't wait. So it's going to be a shorter show than we usually do, but I need to be here for #Bad Company. And I need to talk about something special to me. You've heard me talk about this before, but not on this date, because this is the date. This is July 18th of 2021. And I want to take you back in time. I want to go back to July 18th. Of 2003, so 18 years ago. And that was the day that my life changed forever. Was it the day I got married? No. Was it the day I met my wife? No. In fact, it was quite opposite. I was getting ready to go through a divorce. My wife at the time, who I have no ill will to, the former Mrs. Bryan Anthony Davis, none whatsoever. But she was going through a different time in her life and decided that other men were where she wanted to be, and she was going through a time where something that's important to me is family, not just my BTSC family here, not just my Steeler family, but family. That's the most important thing to me. And I was one of the family, and she started a family without me with somebody else. And I found that out around this time, but not on this date. It was going on at the time. I didn't know yet, but I knew we were separated at this point. I had already been asked to leave the house. And something else was going on in my life. Started to feel tired, started to notice some pain. And I was 75% calcified downstairs. And so I went to the doctor, and I went to the doctor about 6 weeks before, and he said, it's probably just an infection. I'm like, no, I don't think this is different. This is weird. And he said to me, he said, well, all right, you're 31, so you're on the far end of it, but we'll check you. We'll come back if it's still there. So I come back on this date, and they do some tests and they check me out, and they do an ultrasound. And like I said, this is my male region here, and testicular cancer is what they were looking for. And there's some levity to this whole thing because I am a happy-go-lucky guy, and I'm kind of like Chandler on Friends, where I kind of hide behind jokes a lot. And so I was trying to make jokes with the ultrasound technician, but when the ultrasound technician goes, well, first of all, he put hot gel downstairs, and he was like, all right, I know this might be uncomfortable. I'm like, no, I'm just excited. I'm just happy that a man did that to me, and I had no reaction. So great news there. And so I'm trying to make him laugh. But it turns serious when the technician just goes, oh. I'm like, whoa. I felt like Jeff Goldblum in Independence Day. Well, what do you mean, oh? What do you mean? What do you mean, whoops? No. I was scared to death. And he goes, I'll be right back. Man, that's the longest, 5 minutes where I'm sitting there, laying there, actually waiting. And he comes back, and he says, your doctor wants to see you right away. And I'm like, okay. And the doctor was, important enough, there was no Costanza moment. And that's the kind of thing, that's the kind of jokes that I make. And so, yeah, it did not move. So I'm like, the good news is that, well, I'll get to that later. What I was hoping for is the good news is I'm not gay. The bad news is I have cancer. And to quote Costanza from that same season, not that there's anything wrong with it. I'm not saying that. That's, but anyways, so I walk to the doctor's office. And the reason I'm walking is it's a medical building. I'm at the hospital, and the medical building where he's in is right behind it. So I'm walking over, longest walk of my life, So I go over there, and the doctor was about 2 years older than me, and he would not give me eye contact whatsoever. And he just went like this. And it's like, well, it's not right down there. I'm like, I'm like, doctor, are you trying to tell me I have cancer? And he's like, yes. Yeah. Well, he was more, yeah, I am. That's what it is. So we have to put you through more tests. I was in West Virginia at the time, and he's like, hey, could we get you down to Morgantown this afternoon? We're going to operate. I'm like, whoa. I got to process this. And it was just absolutely surreal. And in the waiting room was, for just a complete other appointment, was my soon-to-be ex-wife's mother. So my mother-in-law at the time, who I revere, awesome lady. And she said, you want me to call your wife? And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And so she came in, she helped get me through this. So that's why look, everybody has their path, and that's fine. And I have no ill will. This opened me up to a whole new world. But it was one of those things where I felt like my life could be over. No wife. And also, at this point, I'm afraid I'm going to die. And as my dad said on the Father's Day episode, that I was named after Brian Piccolo, who his brain tumor started out as testicular cancer. And it was just an ironic thing, and we didn't realize that until afterwards. But something happens when you go through a situation like this, and you think you've got nothing, and you think it's all going to end. You realize what you have around you, and you realize what you have to divert that attention. I have a group that in West Virginia, my buddy Gene, my buddy Tom, they called Steelers Central. We watched all the games. They rallied around me. All these people, of course, family rallied around me. My soon-to-be ex-wife's family rallied around me. People came out of the woodwork that I never knew cared. And a lot of them are still there. I found friends that I didn't know I would actually have. But where did I put all my attention? I put all my attention into family. And I put all my attention to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That is when I started writing. I had a friend that wanted to cheer me up, and he was a sports editor at the local newspaper, small little newspaper in Elkins, West Virginia. And he said, "Hey, you always talked about doing that column. Want to go ahead and do that?" So I started writing that column about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was satire. It was called The Steel Deal with Bryan Anthony Davis. I might have just been Brian Davis back then. I was BD instead of bad. But so I would do The Steel Deal. And I would just I studied the Steelers. I wanted to do everything for this column. I was a huge fan, but I jumped in even more. I went to more games. I started doing things that I would never do. I just decided that I'm going to see my best friend in California, and I just went out. So did all those things, and I lived life, and I feel like I was born that day again. 6 days later, I had it removed. 18 years later, I'm cancer-free. I was cancer-free within 6 weeks. Because I caught it so fast, that's why I have children. Didn't have to have radiation. I did not have to have chemo. But, my parents and my friends and the Steelers were there for me, And that's what it's all about. But one thing I had to do was pretend that I was okay, and I wasn't. And, sometimes it's okay to pretend. Because when you're in that situation, you find yourself telling somebody about it, and they're more freaked out about it than you are. And then you find yourself pretending that everything's okay to make them feel better because you see how concerned they are. That's what friendship, that's what love, that's what community is all about. That's what family is all about. And you don't have to have the same blood running through your veins. My gosh, everybody on the screen right now, you're my BTSC family. You're my Steeler family. You have black and gold running through your veins. Comes out red, but we know what color it is. We know what made that, So pretending sometimes is okay. It helps you get stronger. And when you pretend that things are okay, even though people are they're not letting you pretend completely because they're going to help get you through it. But you start pretending, starts becoming real. And you realize you don't have to pretend anymore. I probably told this story before on this show. Let's flash forward to New Year's Eve of that very same year. Call up my mom and my dad to say Happy New Year. And mom said to me, she said to me, "Brian, I bet you're glad that that this year's over." And I said to her, "Mom, this was the best year of my life." She goes, "No, it was the worst year of your life." I'm like, "No, Mom, this was the best year of my life. I found out who I have around me. I'm here. I'm alive. I've got family. I've got friends. No, I don't have a wife, but nobody could take the rest of that stuff away from me. 4 years later in April, I'm married. And then I have a kid. Then I have 2 kids. Then I have a stepson along with it, who's 28 and married and is giving me grandpuppies right now. They've got to give me grandkids. And I'm bugging them for it. And they will. But right now, right now, it's the scoreboard that matters. And people could tell you that you're not that you're just pretend. And we're going to get to that in a bit, because that's something that's happening this week. That's something that's happened in the last 2 weeks on Twitter, if you haven't seen. And I'm going to get into that. But let anybody label you as a pretender, and we're going to talk about that. Then you tell them that you're real. So I labeled myself as a pretender, and I found out I was real. And I did. And that's, to me, what it's all about. So I'm going to dry my eyes, and I'm going to be back here in just a second. If you are on any of our podcast platforms where you download your favorite podcasts, just go download number 2. That means a lot. And it's simple and easy to do. If you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, just about 5 seconds. Let me dry these eyes. And I'm going to be right back. So stick here for the second half. You are not going to want to miss the second half of Tales from 2 a.m. from BehindTheSteelCurtain.com. Welcome back from Tales from 2 a.m. My name is Bryan Anthony Davis, and thank you so much for being here for me on a very special day, which I just talked about. And I just feel like I just bore my soul to you once again, and that's why I love you, #BadCompany. You are the best, and all these comments are great, and I'm not even doing it for the comments. I'm just doing it because I'm sharing this special day. This is the day every year I make my kids listen to Jim Valvano's speech from the ESPYs in 1993. And if you never had a chance to download that, I know each and every one of you has had somebody close to you that you love that has had cancer in their life. I'm one of the lucky ones. I have so many people that aren't. And there's some people that are fighting right now and fighting hard. So I want to say to my buddy Pat and my friend Jen, keep fighting. Keep fighting. So anyways, let's go forward. I've been talking a lot about pretenders. All right. And this has come out this week, and I'm just going to lay it all on the line because I'm kind of tired of it. I'm tired of, my gosh, every time I go to Twitter, we're fighting a battle. And it's not that I'm tired of it. It's just like, look, this is simple. This is just talk. We've got a well-known, I'm not going to mention his name because this is what he loves. He used to be a professional wrestling announcer. He loves to stir it up. And you know what? He's good at it. And he's good at his job. And he takes a lot of heat. He takes a lot of heat because that's what he wants. He has people calling him the nastiest things. But my gosh, he's a Pittsburgh broadcasting legend. The problem is he tells everybody about it and looks down on everybody else. And he went after Tony Defeo, and he went after Michael Beck. And Tony, he wasn't able to really go after. It's kind of started with Tony. A lot of people don't know that. Just like a little going back and forth on Twitter. But then he was able to dig into Michael Beck, looking to see he was from Canada, started calling him the pretend media, and then went after everybody else. And when I say everybody else, he went after all the blog sites, went after all the people that aren't in terrestrial radio, not the people that aren't in traditional radio. And he went after him. And you know what? I'm not afraid to say it. We're competitors with Steelers Depot. We're competitors with other blog sites. You know, that's fine. But everybody else, my competitors, those guys at Depot, I don't want you to turn and go listen to their podcast, but they're pretty damn good. And they put their heart and soul into it, just like we do here. As the podcast producer in the last year, Jeff Hartman, Dave Schofield banded together with me, and we put together a plan. And the plan was to be the best. So besides anything that's on broadcast radio, our podcast platform is the best. And I'll tell you why. We have 25 original shows coming up in the regular season. And it's going to be good. And it's something different. And you got to know what those shows are about. But for this man to call us pretend media, I'm talking about the girls at Yinzhers. It's a pretty good show. They work hard. They put a lot into it. I'm talking about, even DK, that group. Ramon Foster's there now. Look, I'm not asking you to move on over to them, but I'm asking you to keep it here. But we're fighting that battle, and now they're more accredited. But the thing is, a lot of us aren't accredited. And that's why it's tough. The Steelers don't recognize us as media. And so maybe that's why we're the pretend media. This is interesting. The Philadelphia Eagles take the SB Nation, their SB Nation, which is Bleeding Green Nation. And they take that and they actually kind of employ them. And they're accredited and they have complete access to the team. In all of SB Nation, which is like 330 some sites, Bleeding Green Nation is number one in everything, single sport. They've got MMA, they've got all the college teams, they've got baseball, football, hockey. Number one as far as podcasting. We're not quite where we want to be in the rankings. We're not accredited. But by God, we're number 2 in all of SB Nation. And that's because of you people that are checking us out. That's because of the Stat Geek Show. That's because of hashtag Ride or Die Crew. That's because of hashtag Bad Company. The people that love Beck and Benedict and Tony Defio. The Deaf Heads. Oh, that's a good name. I like that. Deaf Heads. That's because of the guys from Touchdown Under. That's because of Shannon White. That's because of everybody that comes on here. Because you have found in us somebody that you want to talk to. So are we pretend? I don't think we're pretend. Dave Shipley says, I watch all of those shows because it's stress relief. Let's fix that. You know what? I'm not going after anybody on regular radio. I love Stan Savran. Colin Dunlap of the morning show, The Fan, he came to our aid, not our aid, but just to pretend media, the so-called pretend media, and put a tweet out on Thursday that was great. So thank you, Colin. That was awesome. And it's one of those things that, all right, they're recognizing what we do. And he said, it's the heart that you put into it. It's the hard work. You don't have to be accredited, and you don't have to be connected to the team. You don't have to be with a radio station. So I love it. I love that he said that. And this is a debate that's been raging for 2 weeks, and I've never gotten into it. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. That shtick's working for that guy. That's perfect. Do it. I mean, professional wrestling heel. That's what he's doing. I have no problem. And he's good at what he does. But so is Hartman. So is both Schofields. So is Benedict and Beck and Defio. So is Peveril. So is White. So is Marky D, Mark Davison. And so are those guys at those other sites that are competitors. They're good. They put their heart into it. And that's what we do. And the only reason we do it, it's because of all of you out here. So we appreciate that. So am I a pretender? You're gosh darn right I am. I'm a pretender, and I'm proud of it. And I'm going to keep on pretending because you're letting me pretend. So I love it. And thank you all for that. I only have about 3 minutes left because, man, I'm going to put that Scoutmaster's uniform on. Hey, show you. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. I'm going to put this uniform on, and I'm going to take care of my Scout family. So I'm going to do that. But in the next couple of minutes, I want you to throw out, let's do a quick Q&A. What are you thinking about of the Steelers this week? We're going to go rapid fire here. I also want to mention somebody here. I always mention people from back home that check me out. Halloy, thank you so much. Longtime friend of my sister. Thank you for checking me out on the show and commenting. I love it. Brian Brown says this, and this is not, I'm not trying to get into a debate with them, but this so-called pretend media that includes its listeners in the conversation, there's nothing pretend about it. So thank you. Yeah, and I think BTSC does that better than anybody. That's something that Jeff and Dave and I started to do when we first started doing these shows, and Lance was good at it too. That's another guy, man. Lance and Neil on that show. They put their heart into it. So when Just Me comes out and says, we appreciate you, hashtag I'm a pretender. George Teston, he's a pretender. Bad Company, we're pretenders. And man, I'm so proud of it. So thank you for all you said. Hey, let's throw out some rapid fire stuff before I go into the woods. And yeah, I am going to be putting on a lot of repellent. The ticks are bad. And you know my history in my family with ticks. So my daughter went to camp 3 weeks ago. Her and I went to visit last night. We both got ticks. We sent those ticks away. We kept the ticks. We got on doxycycline right away, and we sent them away. We got them back on Thursday. And guess what? You can save your tick. You can send it to Colorado. It costs $35, but we have peace of mind knowing that those ticks were non-Lyme carrying ticks. And it's a big deal. So if you ever run into a tick, do that. Get to the doctor right away. You don't have much time to get the doxy. There's different schools of thought on that. Let's see. Let's get some rapid fire. Let's get 3 or 5 thoughts from the best live chat in Pittsburgh media, whether it's pretend or not. Let's get some fun stuff in here. Now, am I going to be on shows this week? Yeah, no. I'm not. Shannon and Tony, take good care of them tomorrow night. They're going to be great. I think they need to have a cardboard cutout of me. And you know what? It's probably going to be pretty darn good without me just talking about nonsense. So have fun with that show. Jeff and Dave are going to go it alone. Those guys need no help. Those guys are the best. NVR, NDR. Thoughts on Devin Bush and his social media antics? I think it's a game. I actually think it's a game. I remember him a couple years ago saying, I don't like Twitter. I don't like this kind of stuff. Now he's doing it, but I think he's playing around a little bit too. I think he's trying to stir the pot. A lot of us at BTSC thinks that maybe it's not him and it's Buddy's doing it. Mac will do. We at the heart of what it means to be black and gold. Bad, you shine that for us all. Thanks, man. Thank you so much. You can hear my kids in the background. They're getting ready to go. John C. just coming in. Good morning. Good morning, my friend. Hey, wherever you are, whatever's going on in your head right now, if you're Dwayne Haskins and you're dealing with people questioning your manhood because of an incident at a hotel, it's okay. Surround yourself with friends. If you're Cassius Marsh and you had a bad time with another team and like 7 other teams, but it's okay. You're among friends now. You're among family now. Some of you are struggling with something that is completely just breaking you down right now. And one of the reasons you're coming in is the same reason I'm on this show, because I get away. I get a chance to get away too. But if you need something, if you need to chat with somebody online, man, you know how to, at BTSC BAD, B8 St. Myron at gmail.com. You get a hold of Bryan. No, stop that crap. You get a hold of me. And I try to get back to everybody. And if I don't, get a hold of me again. Portna, what are the chances for you to bring the slap shot extra on the show? Yeah, I would love to do that. That is something really cool. We're going to have to do something like that. Maybe we'll do that in the next couple of weeks. Everybody's telling me to be safe in the woods. Steeler Chick 46 has had bad experience with poison oak. Yeah, I'm more afraid of ticks, but yeah, I'm sure I'm going to get that someday too. This is a great campsite. So there is a leader's lounge, not the kind of lounge that's not a 2 a.m. lounge where we're drinking and having a good time, but where I can get some internet. So I'm going to be producing the shows that I do this week. So my stamp is going to be on every single show. I'm still going to work because that's I could have asked. They would have helped me out. Jeff yelled at me because I'm doing the show now because I didn't ask anybody to do it. Tyler says, make sure to bring a tick remover kit. I've got it. I've got little bags to send them away if we get them. I make the boys shower every night because they need a check too. They need to be cognizant of it. Plus, I don't want them to stink. Ugh. All right. Bad Company, I love you so much. I poured my heart out to you, and that's hard for me to do. But as you know that you've got a friend in me, and I know I've got family in you, so thank you so much. So you've got to do 3 things for me. You've got to stay safe. I need you. I need to see your avatar. And I tell you what, if you don't have an avatar, put a little picture of yourself in there. I want to see Brian Brown. I want to see Steeler Chick 46. I want to see Portna. I want to see John C. Because you're a part of my family. I'd love to see Dave Shipley. I've known you for over a year now. I don't know what you look like. Put your avatar in there. That'd be fun. But once again, thank you so much. There's Stacy Lynn. Thanks so much, Stacy Lynn. It's good to see you too. Maryland in the house. I will have a great time. I will hopefully be here next week. Dave doesn't know how. Guys, help out Dave to put a little avatar in there. I probably can't get you through it right now, but I bet you if you go to settings, or you could probably do. Yeah. Oh no, that's probably for me on this end. I'm sure that you guys can figure that out. But all right, once again, definitely stay safe. 2, be true to yourself. I am. That's why I'm a pretender, and I'm true about being a pretender. And I love being a pretender. I don't need to be anything other than what I am and have anything other than what I have here. And finally, be behind the still curtain. You know what? I'm going to add a 4th. Be bad. I love you. We'll talk to you later, BTSC Nation. # Bad Company. Not in the house, but on the way to the woods. We'll see you.